You ever have those days where you just don't feel like you want to do anything, but you gotta? That's kind of how I am today. I don't really want to work on the Subaru. I don't really want to do anything today, honestly. I just kind of want to chill, hang out. But I told myself that I want to have this car running by Friday, which is tomorrow. And for the most part, the last of the stuff gets dropped off today and tomorrow. So we're gonna go through the Subaru and wrap up all the other stuff. By the end of this video, we may be starting the car, or we might start it in the next video. I don't quite know yet. It depends on the journey that this video takes for us. We need to do the oil return line from the oil pressure regulator to the oil return. We need to do the oil return from the turbo to the pan. We need to fabricate up the charge pipe for the turbo to intercooler, adjust the down pipe. I'm gonna raise the front end of the car up maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. A whole bunch of small stuff that we need to knock out on this thing, so that way tomorrow we can just fire it up. We need to fix that power steering leak too, which is not one that I'm looking forward to because I absolutely hate dealing with fluids like power steering fluid and whatnot. So I say we start with the downpipe first. So with our downpipe here, I need to make one adjustment to the frame right there. You guys can kind of see it that the downpipe is touching the frame right there. It should be an easy fix. I also need to get some like Perrin fender shrouds or Grimspeed ones. I'll probably just snag the Perrin ones. They're local, somewhat local, so I can probably get them a lot quicker. I'll just get a black set because that's pretty much the theme of the engine bay. So we'll adjust the downpipe. We'll do the oil return line from the turbo to the pan, actually, then the one from the oil pressure regulator to the turbo, assuming I have enough dash 4 AN line left over. We need to fix these vacuum lines because there's no way in hell that we're gonna run those straight underneath that downpipe. That's just not a good idea. We'll pull them up so that way they run along the frame rail right here to our boost controller underneath our power steering reservoir back there. So let me get this thing jacked up. While I have it in the air, I might as well adjust the suspension too. Like I said, like I'm happy with this fitment. I just, it's still a little too close for me. So I'm gonna raise it up just to match the rear a little bit. So let's start with over here. Let's get this thing in the air. In question here is fuck it. I'll take the fender off. Dude, it seriously bothered me that much to where the tip wasn't straight with the garnish that I cut it off, adjusted it, and re-welded it, and it looks way better now. I still wish that I would stick out a hair more past the garnish, but it does angle up, so I feel like the exhaust will still travel up. It still may be a little bit turbulent here. I just didn't have any 3.5 inch. I had 3, but if I used 3, it would have pushed this whole thing back instead of pushing it out. So I need to get some 3.5 inch ordered, but I'm way happier with that. Our clearances all look good down here. We are not touching the frame or anything like that. Everything up inside the wheel well is now cleared up out of the way, so we should be solid on the fender exit. Next up, I'm going to adjust these coilovers a little bit and raise the front end up about a ½ inch or so, not too much, but I needed to do it anyways when we were loading it on the trailer, doing all that kind of stuff. It was just sitting a little bit too low for what I wanted out of it, so let me get both of these adjusted real quick, and then we can get this thing back on the ground and start doing some of the other small stuff like the oil. Actually, no, we need to leave it up for the oil line on the turbo and the oil line off the oil pressure regulator, going back down to our oil drain here. So let's do that. That don't look too bad. Raised it up 1/3 of an inch, so it matches the back pretty nicely. And the other reason I wanted to raise it up a bit was just to get a little bit more clearance between our downpipe and the tire. We've got probably about 1.5 inches clearance there, so that is solid. If I ever need to heat up my tires to get sticky tires, hey, there we go. That's how we're doing it. So dope, that's done. Next up, let's start doing some of these oil lines so that way we can get the oil system done. Once I have the oil system done, I can actually put oil in the car. I've got a little bit in there now, but I forgot to swap the crush washer on the drain plug, so it's dripping oil because the crush washer is obviously not doing anything. So we'll do that situation. What did I just say I was gonna do? I don't even remember. Oil lines. Let me do these oil lines real quick. So we have our oil return fitting put in for the oil pressure regulator. It comes off the OPR, goes down. I put a riv nut right here so that way it just consistently goes down. We can't have any level spots. We can't have anything that goes up because it's gravity fed back to the oil drain. Now the oil drain, I can't get that one in yet. We have this side good. So this is a 45 that runs off of this side. But down here under the car, I need to get a 60-degree fitting for right there because over here on this side, that fitting does touch the header. So a 60-degree will get us right where we need. I did pop the oil drain plug off and put a crush washer on there. And then I also did the same thing for our radiator up there. Well, it's not a crush washer, it's an MPT fitting, but I got that back in, got everything tightened up. So now we can start throwing some fluids in this turd here. This is a weird angle to look at the car from, so let's get some fluids in this thing. As fun as this is, I'll just update you when I'm dumping the oil in it. Well, we got a little bit of oil in here. I can't put any more in until I get that oil return on, otherwise it's just gonna pee out. I went to put coolant in this, but then realized I am missing one of my heater core lines, and I need to go get some 5/8 heater core line from AutoZone tonight, so I'll snag that. Then we can put coolant in here. But for now, I'm gonna jump over to something a little easier and install my carbon fiber license plate shroud from APR from WRX Daily. Once again, thanks, dude. So we're gonna go from this to this. That looks way better. Once again, thank you, WRX Daily, for sending this over. I didn't even know who was sending that over until I got an email saying that something had shipped out. I was like, what are you sending me? So that looks way better than not having one. Like I said, I used to have one on my old trunk when we were wingless, but when I did the trunk swap, we couldn't get the old one off, so I gave it to the trunk swappee. So, hey, glad we have another one back. All right, guys, it's the next day. I ended up not going to AutoZone. I ended up installing train horns on Tina's STI so don't ask why. It's very loud and obnoxious, but it's all right. So I'm honestly very tired of working on this car. I don't want to work on this thing anymore. So today I'm going to try to wrap it all up. First thing we're going to do right now is figure out this charge pipe because Praxair closes at 3 and I don't have a lot of welding gas left. So let's get this pipe figured out. Let's use the gas I do have by tacking it up, and then let's go get some new welding gas, or some more argon, because I seriously need some more and I want to get this done. I can't think of a good way to do this. I've got like all this pipe here to be able to try to figure this out. For the life of me, without cutting this pipe, which I really don't want to do, I cannot think of a good way to do this. So I'm going to come back to this. We're going to jump over to a couple other things that we got to do. Next up, I'm going to deal with this power steering fluid leak. I hate dealing with fluids, especially power steering fluids. So let me get this catch can out of here. Let me get all the breather lines and everything off of there. The oil pressure regulator pushed out of the way. And then let me get down to that hard line down there where it connects up to the rack where it keeps leaking from. I don't know why it keeps leaking leaking from there, but for some reason that high pressure line does not want to seal. I've never had good luck with aftermarket power steering systems, and this is exactly why I try to avoid using them when I can. Just they always leak for me for some reason. It's only power steering stuff that always leaks for me. So let's get down there, see if we can't figure this out. Okay, so I found out why we're leaking power steering fluid. It's a relatively easy fix. On the hard line coming off of the power steering rack, there's supposed to be an O-ring. And then on top of that O-ring, you put the Viton valve, or you put the Viton seal from IAG on top of that O-ring, and then you put the fitting on, tighten it all down, and then it seals everything up. I didn't have the O-ring on there, so I just put another Viton valve seal on there, squished it down, double checked again. I was like, shit, I'm supposed to have an O-ring on this, and I thought I didn't have any more Viton valve seal. I have one more valve seal, or Viton seal. It's not a valve seal, Viton seal for the power steering rack. So I just called Subaru. I'm gonna go swing over to Subaru, go get this stupid little 97-cent O-ring for this power steering rack. Get those O-rings on there, get the power steering system fixed, then that leak is fixed, and then after that I just need Amazon to drop off my dash 4 AN fittings and line for the vacuum lines, and the 60-degree dash 10 fitting for the oil pan. And then the last thing stopping us from starting this car is the charge pipe from the turbo to the intercooler. So let me go run these errands real quick, let me go grab these parts, I'll be back, we'll get these leaks fixed, and then we should be solid on power steering system. Finally, thank God. And I'm back. I don't think you guys really cared to watch me put an O-ring in the power steering system and a Viton seal and redo the line, so I just did all that. Kind of bled it half-assed right now. I just got it up in the air, turned the wheels a couple times. Got the catch cam back in. I need to put the lines back on, but I snagged both O-rings from Subaru. If you guys are doing this, a high pressure O-ring for 2015 to 2021 is 34616VA010. It's O-ring, Viton seal, fitting, AN line. That's the order it goes. So I also snagged the 5/8 heater core hose. I already have that in there also. So I'm gonna get this thing back up in the air. I'm gonna put that lower frame guard on for the power steering rack. Get the rest of get the oil line. We're just gonna do all the little stuff aside from that charge pipe right now. Matt came out, he helped me brain noodle up some ideas. It's got a good brain noodle right there. And we have something started. Still gotta figure it out though. But let's at least get the rest of the small stuff taken care of, and the vacuum line got dropped off, so let's just knock out all that stuff so that way all we have left to do is that charge pipe, and then we can start this thing up. Alright guys, so we have all the little stuff taken care of. Everything is done with the exception of this charge pipe. So now I can start the car. It's not going to be the happiest because obviously it's missing a charge pipe to the turbo, so it's pretty much just going to be naturally aspirated for this. But we're going to go ahead and start it up, start the burping process on coolant, make sure that we got no leaks, verify all that fun stuff, make sure that everything's solid. But I am feeling pretty confident about this setup and revision here. I've got all the vacuum lines ran right there for the wastegates to the boost controller. Boost controller's all wired up, O2 sensors plugged in, downpipe's done. All this stuff's done. So, fuck it, man. Let's just start this thing. Let's see what it sounds like. Hi, Matt. What are you doing? Nothing. oil leak. I can see it coming from somewhere. But that's it, just one. It's coming off the valve cover. Where are you coming from? It's leaking from the valve cover. That's annoying. I'll fix that tomorrow because I don't want to deal with it today. But dough. Woo! I told you I'd start it in this video when I did. So these were loose, so you may have heard these guys jangling all around. I just didn't tighten them down. Vacuum lines, everything's solid at this point. Like I said, all we have left to do is finish this charge pipe right here and then fix that one oil leak that's weirdly enough coming from the spark plug cover on cylinder 1. I don't know why it would be leaking. It could be as easy as just tightening down the valve cover bolts again. I don't know. I'll go back through there tomorrow and deal with it. I'm done for tonight. I've like the past 2.5 days have been me just hammering out all the small stuff on this to get it done. All we got left to do at this point, charge pipe, oil leak, burp the cooling system, burp the power steering system, go drive this thing, put break-in miles on it. And in all honesty, it actually does sound quieter with the fender exit rather than having the full exhaust. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but it definitely sounds way better with just having the fender exit. So I would have let the car run longer, but with having an oil leak, that's obviously a fire hazard, and we don't want a fire hazard. I don't want this car to catch on fire. So I'll take care of those issues tomorrow, and then hopefully we can go drive it tomorrow. No, we got to do that charge pipe. I don't know. I'll keep going on the charge pipe. I've got most of it built out already. It's just figuring out the rest of how I want to do it, if that makes sense. So this is what I've got done so far. My aluminum welding sucks ass. I'm not going to weld this thing. I'm going to have someone else do it. I just cannot do aluminum well enough. I was playing with the pulse setting on the TIG welder earlier, and it was getting a little bit better, but not overly like fantastic. So side note, our charge pipe just got picked up to go get finished, so we should have that back tomorrow or the next day. Side note, I also got the catalytic converter for the Evo and a whole bunch of smaller stuff I was waiting on. So probably start jumping on the Evo again here in the next couple of days to start getting like the full exhaust on, get as far as I can on that Evo. Like I said, there's still some stuff I'm waiting on here and there, but for the most part, we can get that thing all put back together and whatnot. I got all the T-case bolts, the seals for the T-case, so we can get that back up and in. Once the T-case is in, we can start bolting stuff on permanently, like the intake manifold, things like that. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. Dude, this thing sounds way better. I'm in love with it. So game plan is put some break-in miles on it, tow it back out to Baderbilt and go see Josh, toss it back on the dyno, and then we can start making power. Because that's what I know, that's what we're all waiting on. That's what I've been waiting on, to see how much power this thing will put on. That fender exit's gonna burn the hell out of my fender. It's gonna shoot fire, but it's all right. That's called patina. Patina. So if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, which you should be, because you want to see this thing make power. I know you do, little Jimbo. Okay? So just hit the button. Just hit the button. Oh. So, with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So, peace out, homies. Woo!